Well, a whole slew of new documents have arrived in the Court of Common Pleas of Vinton County, Ohio, in the case, well, in the prosecution against the Siders family. Uh, I should have counted before I started. Gavin, what are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new documents that we can go over today. And that does not include a line item on the docket that said exhibits filed under seal. So there's a little bit more. We're just not going to be able to see those quite yet, or if ever. So we got a lot to talk about in the Siders case today. We also have something to talk about in the headlines segment today about the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case, which answered a question that I've been asking for months. And I mean, it was reported a couple days ago, but we were so hyper focused on Lindsay Clancy and on the Siders family that I let this kind of pass me by. So we are going to get into that today as well. Let me look at the agenda. It's a pretty full show today. So we got the orders in both the Christina Siders prosecution and in the Gary Siders, the younger not prostitution, prosecution. Javi, let's do a take 2 on that. You're going to be able to edit that out in post. Right, Javi. Please. What if I said please? I guess it's a live show. I guess we can't, but that's okay. So in the Gary Siders, the younger prosecution, the guy I call G2, we got motions and orders there. We've got 3 questions that we're going to get to today, and just a couple of headlines. One in the Celeste Rivas case, one in the case against Tyler Robinson, who is accused of assassinating, murdering conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Of course, we got some good news, but why don't we start the day with the question of the day? And let me give you a little background on this, okay? Yesterday was Wednesday. Wednesday is the day that we do our members and patron only after show. It's a relaxed kind of little atmosphere where we talk about things and stuff and just kind of jibba jabba. Don't really have lots on the agenda. It's not really all that organized. But one of the things that they caught me doing is I was snacking on my favorite little chocolates, and here's what they are. They are Ghirardelli 72% cacao dark chocolate chips. They're very good, and they're a little bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't overdo it. I really like dark chocolate, but that is why we have the question of the day today that I ask for you to answer, both in the live chat if you are watching this live on YouTube, or in the comments if you're in the rewatch crew on YouTube or on Spotify, or maybe even the clips over on Facebook, or you're listening across this wonderful planet of ours on your favorite podcast app. This is what I ask you to do, okay? Just answer this question. And tell me where you're tuning in from. I like both of those things. Okay. Question of the day is, what food instantly puts you in a good mood? For me, it's my little chocolate chips from Ghirardelli. I don't know, it reminds me of home. I am a Northern California kid. I grew up with the not terribly infrequent trip down to San Francisco for the day or the night or the weekend or whatever. And remember Ghirardelli Square. And it just brings it all back. Plus, I mean, it's dark chocolate, so it puts me in a good mood. I have been nibbling on them before this here live stream, which is why you see this smile on my face. So what is a food that instantly puts you in a good mood? Don't forget, put GF in your comment. That highlights it on my side so that I won't miss it. And with that, why don't we just ask our chief button pusher, toggle switcher, lever, lifter, Javier, to go ahead and start with the intro. Javi, take it away. This video contains mature themes and discussions intended only for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, hello there. Welcome back, my friend. Welcome to another true crime conversation with me. My name is Gavin. Thank you very much for being here. What's your name? Tell me. I'm listening. That's a beautiful name. Your parents must have loved you very much. Thank you for joining me. My goodness. It's Thursday, July 30th, 2026. Where does the time go? Where does it go? It just marches on, as they say. We are one day away from finishing the 7th month of the calendar year. And tomorrow, on that day, we will welcome back Elizabeth Jones for a weekly wrap-up rap, right? We're going to wrap it up with a W by rapping with an R. It's not going to be that kind of rap. It's kind of the old school kind of, just two friends talking about stuff and things. That's what it's going to be. But we are going to cover cases that we've been talking about. Lindsay Clancy's trial, of course, the Siders. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. And you know what? Elizabeth and I, we probably spent maybe an hour and a half maybe on the phone today, just talking about each of our channels. We're lighting things up, guys. We're lighting things up, and boy do I have some fun stuff in store for you before this year of ours ends. I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, what was the question of the day, Gavin? Question of the day, and I'm sorry to give you homework. This might be the only channel on YouTube where you're like, I gotta work. Yeah, you gotta work. I gotta work. Let's do it together. Question of the day: what food instantly puts you in a good mood? Don't forget to put GF in your comment to highlight it on my side so it gets my attention and so that I can see it. And don't forget to tell me where you are tuning in from. Let's start off with orange chicken. Orange chicken, I think, surprising to me anyway, says ice cream. I thought it might be delicious Chinese food. I should have said that I do love my little chocolate chips. They're like these little domed things. They're not like the Hershey's chips. They're like these little dome things. But maybe my favorite cuisine in the world is, let's face it, it's the Americanized Chinese cuisine, right? I'm a lover of kung pao chicken, kung pao tofu. I love myself a fried rice. But Orange Chicken 58 is saying ice cream. Miss Chivo's Dragon, good to see you. Macaroni or chocolate chip cookies. So, is it macaroni? Is this one of those continuation things where it's macaroni cookies or chocolate chip cookies, or is it macaroni or chocolate chip cookies? I bet it's the latter. Ellie Griffin says, here from the middle of nowhere, Missouri. I'm going to be joining you in Missouri here in just a couple of weeks, going with the waifaroo, the love of my life, my sweetie pie, my snuggly bear, my one and only, to visit friends in St. Louis. Ellie loves a good garlic buttered steak. I like that too. Montana Sunshine coming in with classic pizza. Red Lioness tacos. Tacos. Michelle says, you might also like HU chocolate. Similar. I think mine is berries. Likes berries. Teresa likes tacos from Texas. Okay, I'm sorry to keep asking these kinds of questions, but is it that you like tacos from Texas, or is it that you like tacos and you are from Texas? I'm guessing, again, the latter. Lanny Fisk, Santan Valley, Arizona, and chocolate chip cookies. Diane Likes says, also Ghirardelli's dark chocolate peppermint. Oh, adding the extra flavor in there. Mary says, anything pasta and super hot, Madison, Wisconsin. Melissa says, dark chocolate. Melissa says, I was born in Burbank, California, lived there till I was 5, down there in SoCal. Garth B. Nutt, Werther's Original Hard Caramels. Garth B. Nutt, I was under the impression that that was my grandfather's favorite. I would get him those hard caramels from Werther's all the time. His birthday, Christmas, Father's Day, whatever. Well, I, it turns out he hated them. It's just all of us grandkids thought that he loved them. He would say thank you. Lynn likes the homemade kind of mac and cheese. Chrissy likes cheesecake from the St. Louis area. Good to see you there. Saudi Daisy, Tennessee is here, and cake. Ms. Vicky says, instead of filming a new intro, couldn't you have AI make you thinner than the one you already have? What a great idea. What a great idea. That's good stuff. Blaine, Minnesota in the house. Robin says, the type of food that puts me in a good mood, a vanilla flavored nothing bunt cake. A bunt. Bunt? A bunt cake. A bunt. Red Lioness says, love Elizabeth, gives food for thought and has a cute laugh. She surely does. Lasagna is here, Alpaca Mom. Ramen with pork belly comes Volkisch Frau. Let's see, pepperoni pizza from Pittsburgh checking in. Good to see the Berg there. Anything with sugar, says Gina from California. Let's see if there are a couple more before we go. Ooh, Nitty Kitty says, I'm weird. I love frozen grapes as a snack. Interesting. That I have never, ever tried frozen grapes, though I do frozen blueberries on the daily. It's part of my regular old breakfast. I do frozen blueberries. Frozen grapes, that sounds delicious. That sounds delightful. Okay, guys, what are we talking about today? We are talking about this case. The case of the residents of this humble house that you see on your screen that was rented, as we understand, by one Christina Siders. And with her lived her husband, Gary Siders, and their son, Gary Siders the younger, with his wife, Elizabeth Siders, and their reported, wait for it, 16 children. 16 children. 16 children. I don't understand the psychology of this. And I'm not making fun. I need to have somebody on that does. I don't understand the psychology of this. You're in a tiny little place. Have you guys seen the inside? Gross. You're in a tiny little place. It is covered with filth and muck and doo-doo and bugs and varmints and little rodents and other quadrupeds. It is gross. And you're bringing more and more children into this. As we understand, they lived in this house, G2 and Elizabeth, for at least the past 4 years. And their youngest were 18 months old. The age bracket of these children was 18 years to 18 months. We understand the 18-year-old, at least from Attorney General Andy Wilson, the Attorney General of the great state of Ohio, said that there were some learning disabilities there, so that 18-year-old was being treated as a child. And according to Andy Wilson and Sheriff Ryan Kane there from Vinton County, Ohio, they needed medical care when they were taken away. They were taken to area hospitals. Some were life-lighted. I know that that's a brand, Life-Flight. Some were flown via helicopter, via emergency air ambulance to hospitals where they were treated over the course of time. Some number of days, we understand. Don't know the details on that. That obviously is confidential information they're not going to share with us, but that is how the situation has been described, and I don't get it. I want to get it. I want to get it. I want to know what it is in the human brain. And it's, I mean, it's not just Elizabeth, the mother. It's the father of. I don't want to spread rumors. This is my opinion. Until I am told differently through DNA test results, I don't think all of those kids are Elizabeth's. But that's just me. That it's possible that they are. Sure, it's possible. I just think when I'm looking at at a place like this and a person like this and this and this and this, that person, by the way, once looked like this. I think that there is probably some other kinds of schmaboose, whatever we want. You know how YouTube is. YouTube's weird about these kinds of. Every single one of these that I talk about, YouTube takes away advertising on. It's crazy. But anyway, I they are reportedly all Elizabeth and Gary Two's children. I don't get how somebody keeps doing that. And again, not making fun. I honestly want to know, and it would be great to have a guest that I could talk to give me a little more information on that, because it just is mind-boggling to me. It baffles the old mind. You know, it just occurred to me is that that word baffling. It just occurred to me where that came from. As a baffle is sometimes used to scatter sound, scatter pressure waves. Yeah, it's baffling. It's baffling. Yeah, like I can't. I don't get it. So this is the case that we're speaking of on this very program today. What I have for you, what I want to start off with, just to remind us, uh, the last time we spoke about this case, which was day before yesterday, there were some motions that had been filed. One in Christina Siders' case, and that motion was for a competency evaluation. It was, by her attorney, Kendra Roberts, from the the Office of the Ohio Public Defender, saying, "Hey, we're raising an issue of competence for Christina to stand trial. We believe, as her counsel, that she's not able to really comprehend what's going on here, and she's not able to assist in the defense of her own case. These things are required, right? So we're going to ask this court to please order a competency evaluation for our client." Of course, this had already happened before with her husband, G1, right? Gary Siders, the elder, senior, we say, right? He's not in custody, whereas Christina, G2, and Elizabeth all are. Because of medical issues, he is not in custody. So that happened on the 28th for Christina, and then on the 24th, a similar motion was filed for Gary too, but there was a added facet to it. They filed, and again, we went through this together, but they filed a motion for leave to file documents under seal. And in this motion to file documents under seal, they bring up the defendant's competency and say, we really would rather have this sealed because we got some issues here. We want to request a psychiatric examination, but we want to do it under seal, which is really funny because they give away their hand. Worst poker players ever. But that's what happened in Gary 2's case. Okay. So today we found some documents over there at the Vinton County common pleas court that were stamped and marked as received yesterday but didn't show up until today. And by the way, one of the benefits of being a patron of mine, not only do we have the weekly after show, but I also post up there. Any of the documents that I get my hands on, I share those with you over on Patreon. So if you would like to see these documents, maybe even print them out and hold them, the PDFs are on my Patreon page for my patrons. Thank you very much for that support. If you're not a patron of mine, don't worry, we're going to go over it today, so you don't even have to worry about it. But why don't we start over on Christina's case? Let me zoom up on it and bring you back over here. Okay. Again, this was stamped yesterday, the 29th of July at 1:21 p.m. by Jeremiah Griffith, the Vinton County Clerk of Court. This in the case of Ohio v. Christina Siders from Judge Lena Featherwolf Rogers. Here is the order. This matter comes before the court upon defendant's motion for competency evaluation. It is hereby ordered that 1. District 9, a certified forensic center designated by the Ohio Department of Mental Health, will examine the defendant to determine the defendant's competence to stand trial pursuant to the state law. 2, the person conducting the examination will be an examiner as defined in the law. 3, the examiner shall submit a written report of the examination to the court not later than 30 days after the date of the order, except by subsequent order by the court. So by the end of next month, we should see that this has been filed. Number 4, the report of the examiner shall contain the findings of the examiner, the facts in reasonable detail on which findings are based, and the opinion of the examiner as to whether defendant is capable of understanding the nature and objective of the proceedings against defendant and whether defendant is capable of assisting in the defense of herself, and the opinion of the examiner as to whether defendant presently is mentally ill or has an intellectual disability. Paragraph number 5. If it is the opinion of the examiner that defendant presently has an intellectual disability, the examiner also shall state in the report whether the defendant appears to be a person with an intellectual disability subject to institutionalization by this court order or by court order. And 6, if it is the opinion of the examiner that defendant is incapable of understanding the nature and objective of the proceedings against defendant or of assisting in the defense of defendant, the examiner shall also state in the report the opinion of the examiner as to the likelihood of defendant becoming capable of understanding the nature and objective of the proceedings against defendant and of assisting in the defense of defendant within 6 months, if defendant is provided with a course of treatment as provided by law. 7, if it is the opinion of the examiner that defendant is incapable of understanding the nature and objective of the proceedings against defendant and or assisting in the defense of defendant, and that defendant presently is mentally ill or has an intellectual disability, the examiner shall also state in the report the recommendation of the examiner as to the least restrictive placement or commitment alternative consistent with the treatment needs of defendant for restoration to competency. And 8, the time in which defendant must be brought to trial is extended by virtue of Ohio revised statute, the code, blah, blah, blah. So basically, right to speedy trial has been ordered to be extended. This makes me wonder, and I probably should have opened this up before we started. That's what a professional YouTuber would have done. He would have, or she would have opened the case file to find out the answer to the question, which is burning within me, and that is this the exact same order that G1 got? And it is not. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it is this. It's close. In G1's case, it wasn't a 6-month time clock as to whether, what's the likelihood of the defendant being able to assist and understand and everything like that. In Gary 1's case, it was a 1-year time. In Christina's case, under paragraph 6, it's 6 months, I believe. Yeah, it's 6 months. But other than that, it's close to the same. I'm just looking at it. It's about the same. It's not exactly the same, but it's close. So that is the order. So competency, an evaluation to determine competency for Christina Siders has been ordered. Her right to a speedy trial has that time has been extended because of this. Of course, she asked for it, so and this happens in every case, in almost every case in the nation. We all have a right to a speedy trial. We all have a right not to be sitting in court, but typically defendants waive that right because they want a good defense. And their lawyers are like, hey, we need time on this. So the main tenets of that are, hey, is she competent? If she is not competent, is she mentally ill? If she's mentally ill, what's the likelihood that she could return to mental health within 6 months? And what if she is mentally ill? What's the least restrictive thing that where we could commit her? Things like that. All right, so it's pretty, and that the time in which she must be brought to trial has been extended. So that's where we are on Christina. Let's see what you guys are saying over in the old live chat-a-rooney. I did see, I need it to refresh. It does not. Let's see. My thing, guys, I'm going to miss out on a bunch of your comments because my comment thing over on this side needed a refresh. Lynn, thank you very much for that super chat. I really appreciate that. Let me see if there's anything that I'll be able to spot. Ava Baker saying joining from Northeast Ohio. Pizza. Any and all pizza. Connecticut is in the house. Lynn says, I listened to a podcast today. A sheriff came on and said most of the photos online are AI generated. On the Becca Scoops podcast, they showed the true video of some people who had filmed it. And I have not shown any of the ones that are purportedly AI generated. I've looked at the videos where people have trespassed and gone in there, and those videos match the photos that I've been showing. Gramlin says the hospitals all said that she was the mother of all these children. You had the births listed in a previous video. Okay, that's the reporting that we have, and I'm sorry to be this guy. That's the reporting that we have, that she is the mother of all the children. My main question is Gary 2 the father of all these children? I do still have doubts about, is it possible that there are older children that could be parents of the younger children? It does seem that is not the case based on the reporting, but my main concern is, who is the father? That's my main concern. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else. I'm sorry I had to refresh, so I'm going to miss out on a lot of the things that you say. Beverly says, sees candy. Volkish Frau is watching from San Diego. Let's see if there's anything else that I... Cornbread 2948. Gavin, why 3 different time frames for 3 defendants in the same trial? Excellent question, Cornbread. The answer is that it is not the same trial. There are 4 different proceedings happening here. All 4 are being prosecuted by the district attorney's office. Mr. Bill Archer is the lead prosecutor on this. He's being assisted by, let's see, Highland County prosecutor Annika Collins and an assistant attorney general's prosecutor, Kara Keating. That team is prosecuting all 4 cases, but each case is an individual case. And let me show you how I know that. Let me bring it on up. Okay, this is the website Rooney of Vinton County Court of Common Pleas. Once you click this little button to accept and you search for Siders, you don't even have to choose the case type or anything because these folks don't have a criminal record. There's no criminal. This is the only stuff that comes up, and you can see that there are 4 separate cases. And just like, let me see if I can zoom in on this so you can see it better. See how each case number is 26CR00 and then a number. This is a small county, only 12,000 or so residents. 26 is the year, CR is a criminal designator, and then they set aside up to 1,000 numbers for criminal cases. And it is sequential. These cases are 50, 51, 52, and 53, meaning up until June 30th, 2026, when these 4 cases were filed, there had only been 49 other criminal matters in the entire county in the year 2026. In 6 months, there had been 49 criminal matters before this to reach it to the common pleas court. Okay, now the lower court may have other stuff, right? But to reach the common pleas court, which means they found there's enough probable cause to carry it over to court to trial. So I'm sure there was other stuff. There's definitely traffic stuff. There's public intoxication stuff. There's, public indecency stuff in the case of Gary too, and I'm sure others. There's disturbing the peace and all those like little misdemeanors. There were more of those, I'm sure, but getting to the Court of Common Pleas is, they're at 53 cases with these 4 at the end of June. Let me give you let me compare that first. And I know this is, Gavin, this is definitely a tangent. This is a tangent. What are you doing? This is a side quest. We are, you didn't ask this, but I'm answering anyway. The county in which I live has about 32, maybe 35,000 residents. So let's call it 3 times the size of Vinton County, Ohio. And I'm in Pennsylvania, right on the other side of the border of Ohio. We're just like right there. In the common pleas court in my county, they do about 1,200 cases a year. So I guess my point here is I'm talking common pleas court, right? Like 1,200 cases a year. That's how many they dispose of every single year, mostly in plea bargains. And they do about 10 trials a year. I think it's been a long time since there was anything close to this in Vinton County. In fact, if I go to search, I think it makes, let's see. Actually, let's look at case type here for a second. Let's see the kinds of cases that we see here in Vinton County. This is a side quest, but it's fun. And let's do it from January 1st through June 30th. And we're going to do criminal. And we're going to do all statuses, all cities in the county. Yeah, so like, all right. Got to show it to you. So it's showing 86 records, but you can see that it's showing the exact same case number multiple times, at least twice, right? So the numbers check out. But we have having weapons while under disability, escape, aggravated arson, failure to appear, kidnapping is a big one. That's a big one. Theft or grand theft, possession, breaking and entering, failure to appear, felonious assault, having weapons while under disability and extradition, theft in office. I wish I probably could have done that, but I imagine if we go through all of these, we got trafficking, robbery, burglary, failure to appear, vandalism, possession. I bet there's a lot of possession cases. Well, there's not a lot of any case, but yeah, aggravated possession, grand theft, vandalism, tampering with evidence, disrupting public service, assault on a peace officer, aggravated possession, weapons charges. If I saw and I didn't, there's no homicides this year, right? This is the most egregious case of the year endangering children in Vinton County. It's a small place. So yeah, why 3 different time frames for 3 different defendants, same trial? It is because it is not a same trial. There are 4 different cases. Great question. I love good questions. Melissa says, I think Christina needs some medical attention too. That was brought up in one of the motions that she has medical needs. Nitty Kitty says, it's been reported that Gary 2 and Elizabeth have lived there for the past year, not all 4 years. Is that what the reports? I think you are right. I think you're right. Thank you for the correction on that. Sharon says, Port Alberni, anything dark chocolate. Ah, nice. Yes, that's good. Gluten-free does love the side quests. Brian Shirley, has elder abuse been brought up? Nope. Doesn't look like I haven't seen it. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep that up. Thank you guys for checking in on that. Let's go over to now G2. Okay, remember the motion was a motion for leave to file documents under seal. The state says, we object, Yana. State kindly objects. Apparently, Ohio is from some fictitious, horribly accented Southern community. But, Yana, the state kindly and respectfully objects to my colleague across the table their motion to file under seal. So, here is the state's memorandum contra or against defendant's motion for leave to file documents under seal. This is pretty brief. Okay. Now comes the state of Ohio by and through Vinton County Prosecutor's Office and respectfully, Yana, we respectfully submit this memorandum contra to the, I think a lot of people say contra, but I have a hard time saying that unless I'm talking about Contra Costa County. Then for some reason that like comes out of me just like normal. But I have a very hard time saying Las Vegas and Los Angeles. I have a real hard time with that ever since I've been speaking Spanish for over 30 years now. But contra is a Latin word. Most people say contra. Again, side quest, Gavin. Tangent. Goodness sake, Gavin. I got to get better, guys. Got to get better. I just don't need to go on those tangents. Anyway, contra the defendant's motion for leave to file documents under seal. The state opposes the defendant's motion to place the motion for competency evaluation under seal as the motion itself does not contain information warranting such protection. However, the state does not oppose sealing any attachments to the motion or the results of the competency evaluation as those materials contain sensitive information that is appropriately maintained under seal. Therefore, for the reason expressed above, Therefore and for the reason, isn't that the same thing? Okay, this court should not file the motion for competency under seal. Respectfully submitted, William L. Archer, the prosecuting attorney here. And yeah, I agree. I mean, we should be transparent in government unless there's a very, very, very good reason for that. So then comes the order of the court. No, what is this? Yeah, this is an order. So let's zoom up on it, Gavin. In the state v. Gary Siders Jr., G2, G the younger. This matter came before the court upon defendant's motion for leave to file documents under seal filed July 24th, and the state's response filed July 29th. The court denies defendant's motion insofar. Okay, listen, guys, I'm having a hard time today. Insofar is one word in this this sentence. Insofar should be one word, not three words. Do I just need a little piece of chocolate? Do I need to just calm down? Just relax a little bit? Hey, Wanda, calm me down. Thank you, Wanda. Wanda's my music director, by the way, guys. My audio director, really. Thank you, Wanda, for calming me down. Insofar should be not be three words. It should be one word. But that's okay. Insofar as it relates to his motion for competency and a standard entry regarding a competency evaluation, the court will, as is standard practice, keep all private medical information submitted as exhibits confidential and will seal or redact the report as appropriate once it is completed. So it might be sealed, it might be redacted. We won't know for a while. But just so you guys can see, if we go to this case, let me just open it up. Bring you along for the ride. This is the case. If we scroll on down, oh, wait a minute. It's not this case. Give me a second. Let's go to, maybe it's Christina's case. I saw earlier today. You know what? Let me go back to the search. And let's just bring the Siders up. So that'll be way easier. Search, please. There we go. Name, Siders. Okay, it might be Christina's. Let's bring them all up. But I believe it is Christina's. Yes, today were filed some exhibits under seal in this case. I would imagine that these are, and you guys probably can't see that because it's so far away, but zooming on up, exhibits under seal, sure. So they probably are confidential medical exhibits, right? Okay, so that is the order that came in Gary's case that, yeah, the motion to file under seal is denied, but as is the court's prerogative and usual standard practice, all the private stuff will be kept private, either under seal or redacted. Okay. Then came this motion. Okay, so since I can't file it under seal, let's just go ahead and put the motion in. So Gary Siders Jr.'s Gary Siders Jr.'s lawyer, the lawyer for Gary Siders Jr., filed the motion for competency evaluation. Facts have come to the defense counsel's attention pertaining to the defendant's psychiatric state. Psychiatric state. The defendant, through counsel, R. Lee Roberts Jr., moves the court pursuant to this statute and this statute to have the defendant referred to the provider of the court's choosing for examination of his present mental condition to effectively assist counsel in his defense. It's really interesting, the wording on this motion, right? I mean, the motion here for Christina, for example, they're like, hey, we got issues with competency. We don't, and they enumerate it, right? We don't think, A, that she understands what's going on here. And B, we don't think that she can help in her own defense. Whereas Mr. Which one is it? Here it is, Mr. Roberts. It's just like, facts have come to my attention about my client's psychiatric state, and I would really like him referred to a provider of the court's choosing for an examination of his present mental condition to effectively assist counsel in his defense. So it looks like it's just the one thing. Though, I mean, we could look up those laws. Maybe it's both things because he mentions law. Okay, so then same thing happens. Another entry, another order from the court. This one's slightly different though, right? It doesn't have the same same language as this one for Christina and a similar one for G2, right? So let's take a look at it. In Ohio v. Siders Jr., the issue of the above named defendant's competence to stand trial has been raised under statute pursuant to this statute of the revised code. The court hereby orders the defendant to submit to an evaluation by examiner District 9 at the Southeast Ohio Regional Jail. It is further ordered that within 30 days of the day of this entry, which this entry is filed, the examining psychiatrist shall file a written report to the court. Examiner shall speak with defense counsel R. Lee Roberts Jr. prior to the filing of the report. The report shall include all of the following pursuant to code: the examiner's findings, the facts in reasonable detail on which the findings are based, and all of the following findings or recommendations which are applicable. All right, let's see which ones might be applicable. A, whether the defendant is capable of understanding the nature and objective of proceedings against the defendant or assisting in the defendant's defense. Okay, so both of those things. B, if the examiner's opinion is, this is the same kind of stuff, right? If the examiner's opinion is that the defendant is incapable of understanding the nature and objective of proceedings against him or assisting in his defense, whether he presently is mentally ill or mentally retarded, it uses that word, which is a legal term, by the way, and if the examiner's opinion is that the defendant presently is mentally ill or mentally retarded, whether the defendant appears to be mentally ill, a mentally ill person subject to hospitalization, or a mentally retarded person subject to institutionalization by court order. So I know that a lot of people are really uncomfortable with that R word. For me, it has perfect utility under the law, right? Is the person mentally ill, or has their mental progression or the speed at which they travel been retarded or slowed down, right? They're basically asking, is he slow? All right. So this is, similar but different than what we saw on G1's case and on Christina's case. If the examiner's opinion is that the defendant is capable of understanding the nature and objective of the proceedings against him or of assisting in his defense, and that he presently is mentally ill or mentally retarded, the examiner's opinion as to the likelihood of the defendant becoming competent to stand trial within 1 year if provided treatment. So, it's 6 months for Christina, it's 1 year for G1 and G2. Paragraph D, if the examiner's opinion is that the defendant is incapable of understanding the nature and objective of the proceedings against him or of assisting in his defense, and that he is presently mentally ill or mentally retarded, the examiner's recommendation as to the least restrictive treatment alternative consistent with the defendant's treatment needs for restoration to competency and with the safety of the community. Upon receipt of said written report, the court shall conduct further proceedings as required by law, signed by the judge and approved by counsel. Very interesting. It's very different language, and it implies that what it implies to me And maybe I'm reading this wrong. You tell me if you're reading it differently or if there's a better way to do it. I don't mind being corrected. I don't mind being taught. I love that stuff. I live for it, man. I live for it. Okay. It seems like the question is maybe due to age or medical condition that G1 just isn't there anymore. And then with Christina, maybe it's the same kind of thing. Incident to age, incident to hard living, incident to all sorts of stuff. Maybe she's just not capable of caring for herself anymore. But with Gary Siders too, it's now this is a young man. Was he born with some intellectual disabilities? Or, that's the question. Is he intellectually disabled or is he mentally ill through whatever? Could be substance abuse or alcohol abuse or some sort of other disorder or some sort of other mental illness that has been diagnosed. But it kind of, to me, it kind of implies, hey, this is a slow kid. This is a kid that just doesn't keep up. And remember, these two young lovers with nothing better to do married young and pregnant and I mean definitionally stupid because they were young, but it could just be that, man, they're slow, intellectually disabled, at least in G2's case. That's what I'm reading through, reading through the lines. Is that what I'm getting? It kind of feels that way to me. And maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to hear your comments on that. And when I see like this picture of Elizabeth when she was a teenager, she looks like a bright and shiny little pistol. She looks cute and adorable and hey, this is who I was. And then I see and so it leads me, of course, what does a picture tell you? It's just a picture, right? But I see this and I go, oh man, there are years of all sorts of hard living. As my grandmother would say in this picture, she looks rode hard and put away wet, right? So, yeah, I just got tons and tons and tons of questions. Let's see if you guys have any comments over here. Devo Mama, thank you very much. Charlotte Sisters in the house, sending love to Gavin. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and it's good to see you. Lynn says, I don't have a good feeling about Elizabeth's husband. Nor do I. Thank you for that comment. Cornbread says, this seems to be a slippery slope. You get turned down for one thing, so let's try something new. This is ridiculous. Well, this is kind of the way that lawyering works, though. I mean, this seems to be par for the course. It seems to be just regular day in and day out lawyering to me. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Danielle says the legal term was changed under Obama to intellectual disability. Perhaps federally it was. It seems like in the state of Ohio, the old term is the term du jour. By the way, again, going back to one of my favorite books, The Mother Tongue by Bill Bryson. I think it was in this book. And now I'm second guessing myself, but I'm a lover of language. Okay. Words come into use for their utility. And then what happens is they evolve into something that is pejorative, designed to put somebody down. And then they fall out of fashion and they get replaced by another word that has scientific or legal utility until that word starts getting used pejoratively by children sometimes to make fun of others, and then it gets replaced. When I was a kid, that legal term that has been used in this document, mentally retarded, was the legal term, but kids of my generation started using it as a pejorative, so it got replaced. Do you know what old words were? The word before it that it replaced it? I can't remember the order, but like moron, imbecile, those kinds of words were the legal terms. And then it became retarded, and now it is intellectually disabled. That's just, and I know that words can hurt, but I refuse to let words hurt me. I go to church with perfectly great people who can't say ass if they read it in the Bible. It drives me crazy. I refuse to let words have that much power over me. So with that word being in a legal document, I'm completely okay reading it. And I know that there are so many people that just cringed, probably turned me off for even saying it aloud. But I think it's perfectly, it's a perfectly utilitarian word. And it apparently in the state of Ohio is still the legal term. Melissa says if he can buy scratch offs, he can stand trial. Interesting. Yeah, that we've heard that there's that that addiction in his life. User 7239, Gavin, he could be both disabled and an addict. Could be. Indeed. Cornbread says, why the difference in whether Christina will be better after treatment in 6 months and G1 and G2 at 1 year be competent to stand trial? I mean, reading between the lines, it seems, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the court is going like, she seems better to me. It could be completely just arbitrary by the judge. I've seen all 4 of these defendants. She seems sharper to me. I will give that one 6 months. Maybe it's something as simple as that. I don't know. I do not know. Melissa says, I think she is severely depressed. I think you're probably talking about Elizabeth, but I bet Christina is too. Mary Shaw says, having worked in a world of disabilities for years, the word retarded is like poison. What's up with Ohio? Again, for me, I follow you, but I have a sister-in-law whose mother was an educator for, I don't know, 40 years, 50 years, and she worked with those with intellectual disabilities. And all of the plaques and awards and citations and accolades that she ever got that she hung in her home had that word all over it. Some of which were like actual institutional and nonprofit names, right? Institution for the treatment of the mentally, so forth, right? So it's just, oh, Robin's correct. Robin is correct. Gavin. Oh, yeah, I just don't buy into it. I just don't want to let words have that much power over me. It just, I'm not going to go out there and try to use them in ways that disparage or put down or make fun of or hurt the feelings of anybody. But if they are words with perfect utility, I'm all about using them. Yeah, so thank you very much for that commentary, and thank you, Robin, for keeping me honest on the tangents. I really did go off on a few today. That is what we have for these cases. But despair not, my friends, because we do have we have something in the Celeste Rivas case that has me so boiling mad that Wanda's probably going to have to pull out her Fender Rhodes. You might as well get it ready. Go ahead, Wanda. Play it for me. I'm already angry. Oh, no. A false start there? There you go. Thank you, Wanda. I need to calm down. This headline that has come out of the preliminary hearing of De Forvida in the Celeste Rivas case has me so boiling mad at people. I have to remind myself of Mr. Rogers' Fredism about, look, like people are good. People are generally good. So we're going to get into that in our headline segment. We also have a fun animal-based happy news. We like to clear the palate at the end of the day. In fact, I think I might get your last comments first and then do the good news at the end of the day so that is the last thing we do. I think I might make that change today. And then that's how we'll end. We'll end with happy news. And our palates will be cleansed from all this stuff, including this really just talk about making me PIST in the Celeste Rivas case. But before we get to any of that, before we get to headlines, before we get to good news, let's answer some questions. It's 3 questions. Here we go.
It's 3 questions with Gavin Fish.
Pow! Okay, guys, in this segment, what do? In this segment, we answer your questions that you send in to me to the email address on your screen if you're watching this. If you're listening, don't look at screens, especially if you're driving. Just I will tell you, you don't have to look at anything. 3 questions at gavinfish.com, spelled out THREE questions at gavinfish.com. I solemnly do promise that I will answer every question. I won't dodge questions. I ask to be let off the hook. Like, please don't ask me political questions. I mean, I'll answer them because that's my promise. But I try to stay apolitical on this channel. Okay, I have my political leanings, my philosophies, my beliefs, but they don't belong here, right? So, but I will answer the questions, but I will do them 3 at a time in the order in which I see fit. The first question today comes from Ellen. That question is, hey, Gavin, what's your favorite road trip snack? Ellen, that is a delightful question because I am a person who's known to go on road trips. I am a road tripper. What is my favorite road trip? Listen, I'm not proud of this. Okay, I'm not proud of this. Especially after I've been on this journey to shed the pounds that poor living have stored upon me, right? But there are 2 things in this world that I love, that are my favorite, that definitely on a road trip they're there. One is a fully leaded, fully loaded, fully sugared cola. My favorite is RC. Second favorite is Pepsi. It's usually Pepsi that I would drink. That, and then the Frito-Lay company, under its brand Ruffles, which is the Be-Ridged Humble Potato Crisp snack, has a flavor. Frito-Lay has a flavor called cheddar and sour cream. It is like, and I'm not speaking from experience, it's what I imagine like the high from crack is. It tastes so good. Ruffles cheddar and sour cream chips are amazing. What are they? Amazing. Guys, I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. And so on road trips, that has been something that Kimberly always has for me, right? Now we haven't really been on a road trip this year. So I think in the year that I've been focusing on my health, I have had those chips once. And I think I could have them again. I used to do it on the daily, like every day. Go down to the Stab and Grab gas station and get like a big gulp, kind of like a big fizzy drink and a bag of chips. And I might do it in the morning and in the afternoon. It was always at least once. These days, I drink water and the occasional like Coke Zero occasionally. I think I've probably had 3 or 4 of them in a year. So, yeah, Ellen, does that answer your question? You guys, by the way, these kinds of questions are ones that you can answer. I love it when you answer these questions. Question number 2 From Tara, we got a theme going here. Notice how it kind of jives with the question of the day. What is your favorite comfort meal? Favorite comfort meal. Favorite comfort meal. I haven't had this in years either. No, it's got to be Chinese food. I was gonna say like KFC. I don't like messy foods. So at KFC, I would get the mac and cheese. I just loved Kentucky Fried Chicken mac and cheese. I just love it. But no, I think it's Chinese food. And my my first choice is always Kung Pao, and chicken is where it's at. I also like Kung Pao tofu. I like it extra spicy. And I'm not a person who really is like a spicy person, but out here in Western Pennsylvania, like back in California, I would just get the regular Kung Pao chicken and it's fine. Out here, where people, if they put salt on their food, they go, oh, whoo, spicy. Oh, it's very hot. Woo, like nobody knows this is a land of pierogies, y'all. Pierogies don't even have a taste. There's no taste to them. I don't know why people love them so much. Like, you guys need to learn how to season your food out here in Western Pennsylvania. I love you, but you guys don't know how to season food. So when I found a Chinese restaurant which meets my standards, here are my standards. This is very important. Okay, this is very. Robin, don't get on me.
Another fish tangent now. Woo!
Okay, this is my standard. Okay. First off, we're talking about Americanized Chinese food. So there are 3 rules. If any one of these 3 rules do not apply, you run. You don't walk, you run away and you find something else. Rule number 1. The name of the establishment must have either the word empire, it has to have the word of an animal, like it could be a fictitious animal, and it has to have a color in it. So for example, Golden Palace, yes. The Jade Crane, yes. Like you know what I'm getting at, right? It has to have a color. It has to have like Empire, Palace, something like that. And Dynasty is also acceptable. And then it has to, or an animal. So it has to have, I would say it has to have 2 of those 3 things. That's rule number 1. If it's like Asia Bistro, run. No, that's not what we're going after here. If it is, I General So's family room? No. If it's General So's kitchen, I think I would allow it. General Empire, that one works. But okay, maybe not. Okay, but that's rule number 1. Rule number 2. Okay. When you walk into the establishment, you must feel like you are in a 19th century opium den. It has to have, the walls must be red. Okay, they must be red. It has to have wooden carvings of stereotypical Chinese things in America. You, like the Great Wall of China, or a crane standing in a marsh, or a kung fu master. Okay, something like that. So rule number 1 was the name. Rule number 2 is the decor. Rule number 3. Once you get past those first 2 rules, this one's very important. You must ask for something off menu. The only 2 acceptable answers are no, or we charge more for that. If they say, yeah, sweetie, that's fine, run. No. The answer is no. Okay? Also, never go to a place that has the word fusion in it. Come on, don't do that. Okay, so anyway, yeah, those are my rules for Chinese food, and Chinese food is my comfort food. Was that question number 2 or question number 3? Here's question number 3. What is a small everyday luxury you really appreciate? Asks Holly. You know, when I had my long hair up until recently, which was the first and only time I've ever had long hair in my life, I gotta say, the humble blow dryer was a delight. Loved that thing. That was pretty cool. Um, yeah. Oh, but beyond that, now that I am short haired again, I gotta say a good steam iron. I wear clothing that requires an ironing or a pressing. And I don't like this kind of move towards, oh, just put it in a steam dryer, or I've even seen the like steam mannequin things. No, no, you need an iron. I want I want crispness. I want lines. I I'm wearing, by the way, I'm wearing linen today, and it is crisp. And so, yeah, I would say the steam iron. Now, in our case, recently, and I mean recently, like in the last 2 months, uh, we added a tool to the fish household, which is the world's greatest iron. It is second to none. The best on the market. I could tell you the story of how I came to learn that such a thing exists and the coveting of this thing for years before I got it. Like almost 10 years before I got it. But yes, the amazing modern steam iron is a small everyday luxury that I really, really love. So, what are the answers to those questions for you? What's a small luxury that you really appreciate? What's your favorite comfort meal? And what's your favorite road trip snack? And while you are answering those questions in the live chat or in the comments, let's go over some headlines, infuriating they may be.
True crime headlines.
Okay, guys, I'm going to start with the less infuriating one. Okay. This one, yeah. Okay. This one coming out of the Tyler Robinson prosecution in the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who was gunned down at the Utah Valley University campus in, are they in Provo or are they in Orem? In the Utah Valley. Um, this reported at People, Tyler Robinson admitted to killing Charlie Kirk at least 11 times, according to prosecutors. This written by Ben Brockfeld or Bratchfeld, I can't tell. Okay, Tyler Robinson allegedly admitted he was responsible for killing Charlie Kirk at least 11 separate times in writing, prosecutors claimed in a new filing. The bombshell came in a July 28th memorandum filed by the Utah County Attorney's Office urging Judge Tony Graff to bind over Robinson, 23, to stand trial for the conservative activist's September 10th, 2025 murder. He has pleaded not guilty. Binding over is taking it from a lower court into a higher court. Robinson was in court this month for his prelim, where prosecutors sought to establish that there was enough evidence for him to stand trial. In the memorandum, prosecutors included a bulleted list of 11 separate messages allegedly written by Robinson, which they claim are confessions that he killed Kirk. Some of the messages were allegedly sent to a Discord chat group, while others were sent to his roommate Lance Twiggs. Quote, "Look at the pictures from the surveillance footage. It was me. I'm serious," reads one message. "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all this," reads another. "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Cook and I took it," Robinson allegedly wrote to Twiggs. Why did I do it? I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out," reads another message to Twiggs. So, yeah, they're saying, Judge, listen, there's so much. There's just so much. Please hold him over for court. Let him stand trial. And yeah, he confessed to it 11 different times, not under duress, not under interrogation, but to friends and close ones. He said, c'est moi, right? So that's what they're saying. Okay. Headline, the last headline of the day before we get to good news, which we're going to do at the very end today, because I think it's going to make me feel good. Wanda, help me out here. This also in People. This was from a couple days ago. Celeste Rivas Hernandez's family let 14-year-old go to London with David alone. I had asked, how does one take a teenage girl overseas? In fact, I wondered, are we talking about like London, Illinois, or London, Arizona, or something like that? Or are we talking about London? How is it even possible that and I was like, did they take private jets? Did they skirt around customs? Those kinds of things. Because those things are possible, guys. Okay. Speaking as a pilot who has, I don't have tons of experience, but has crossed a border. It's actually pretty easy. So I thought maybe that's what happened, but no, that isn't what happened, guys. That isn't what happened at all. This written by Christine Pulisic and Danielle Bacher. Here we go. Celeste Rivas Hernandez's family allegedly signed a travel consent form allowing their 14-year-old daughter to travel to London with de Forvida alone. Oh, thank you, Wanda. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Wanda. Whew. I'm ready to spit nails here. According to testimony and evidence presented during the 5th day of a preliminary hearing for de Forvida, I said de Forvida, that's right. On Monday, July 27th, Rivas's parents, Jesus Rivas and Mercedes Martinez, signed the consent form on September 23rd, 2024, giving permission for the teen to travel with the singer from September 4th to October 5th. What? She just turned 14, y'all. Isn't her birthday like September 7th? Something like that? I have that. Where do I have that? I don't have it handy. But we're talking about a little girl here. Okay? And we're talking about like a superstar on the rise, has a recording contract, is worth $20 million man here. And you signed consent for your child to travel internationally with that man? Evidence presented during the first day of the hearing showed that de Forvida, whose legal name is David Anthony Burke, purchased United Airlines tickets for himself and Rivas to travel to London and then from London to Texas to visit his family. At the end of the hearing, Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Charlene F. Olmedo decided the prosecutors had enough evidence to send the singer to trial. Yeah, okay. Blah, blah, blah. And then it just talks about the stuff that we have talked about. Oh, my goodness. Farrell testified that prior to April 2025, Celeste's family was aware of her relationship with Burke and that the two had traveled to Las Vegas together in 2024 and also to Houston. And let me just remind you of this one. Prosecutors believe Rivas met Burke in January 2022 when she was just 11 and began their illegal, immoral, and horrifying sexual relationship in November 2023 when she was 13 and he was 18. The parents signed off on it. The parents signed off on it, guys. The parents signed off on it. Wanda. Let's see what you guys have to say. Let's just see what you guys have to say here. And then we will finish with good news. Okay. Let's go here. User 7239 says, My mom's spaghetti and meatballs with garlic bread. That does sound delicious. Ms. Vicky says fish cakes, gravy, fried potatoes. Robin says, my favorite comfort meal is a beef roast with onions, potatoes, and carrots, and a slice of homemade bread with butter. That's what Kimberly's mom would make for family dinner. Oh, I loved going over for family dinner for that stuff. Mary says, comfort food, baked potatoes au gratin. Cold Aquarius says, Lay's cheddar and sour cream chips. Lay's version of it. I'm a Ruffles guy. Robin says, Pearl Dragon. I'll allow it. Pearl Dragon for sure. Yes. Red Lioness says, pierogies filled with taco meat. Westside Market, Cleveland, Ohio. Okay. I'll allow it. Cold Aquarius, ham and scallions, potatoes, or Swiss steak. Very good. Terrier says, how can people who aren't competent to stand trial take care of themselves, let alone 16 children watching from Burlington, Iowa? I think we are all asking that same question, and I think the answer is they don't. They can't. Mary Shaw says, so with you on the iron, a lost art. Oh, I am the best. And I can tell you sometime exactly what my, I'm going to tell you. Robin, I'm going to tell you. Okay. This is what happened. When I was probably, let's see, it was 1991 and it was August, so I had not turned 16 yet. So I was 15 years old. My brother came back from serving his mission where he was required to wear a white shirt and tie every single day. And he saw me ironing my shirt for church and he looked at me and said, you must really hate yourself to put yourself through that. Let me show you how to iron. I went, great. Because my mom made us do our own ironing starting at 10 and I hated it. My oldest brother then proceeded to show me in about a minute and a half, maybe less, how to get a long sleeve dress shirt looking primo on an iron. And I was so grateful for it because and of course at the time I was wearing like rayon, like it was the early 90s. I was wearing my skinny tie with a rayon, very kind of a silky light. I thought I was wearing Dracar Noir and stuff like that. So I have perfected this. And of course I went and served a mission after that. And I could do it. I never had an ironing board and I had a travel iron for 2 years. I could do it on my bed. I perfected this thing. Okay. So yeah, I am good at it. And not only am I good at it, I enjoy doing it. And so I will buy clothing that are made of natural fibers that most people would say, I'm not going to buy that because the upkeep would be too. No, I love it. I love it. So, yeah, that's me. And I can teach you guys someday. There is one tool. Well, there are two tools remaining that I want to get. One is a better ironing board. We have the same ironing board that I think I brought into the marriage. And we've been married 26 and a half years. And it is, I think I must have bought it at Target for $3.99 or something. It's bad. So a better ironing board. And I really want a sleeve board, which I don't have. I make do. But yeah, anyway. Okay. All right. Cold Aquarius. Question number 3 is central air. Central air is a delightful thing, especially, where I live, when we live in these old homes. My house is one of the newest in town. It was built in 1903, but the previous owners put central air into it. It's pretty amazing. Shawnabo says, Chex Mix, my mom's homemade lasagna with garlic bread. Good stuff. Archangel, question 2, pasta drowning in white sauce and some cheese. That sounds delicious. Ms. Vicky, hot tamales. Hot tamales as in the candy or as in the delightful Mexican fare? I'm going to guess that's the hot tamales. Oh yeah, because it's a travel. Yeah, so it's candy. They're delicious. Fish cake gravy and fried potatoes and ensuite bathrooms. Yes. I think Ms. Vicky, I think you must be English. That's my guess. Are you joining us from across the pond? Sure feels that way. Mary Shaw says, sounds like those parents were pretty loosey-goosey, unlike my parenting was. Yeah, same. Melissa saying, well, that girl's family will have to live with that for the rest of their lives also. Yeah, it's sad. Hollywood OTM says Wanda does not have enough music to calm me down about what those parents knew. Yeah, and all the adults, oh, makes me so mad. Julie Grenier says psychiatric possible drug withdrawal could be. Hollywood says the blue gibbon. The blue gibbon. Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Like, I like, oh, garden. Garden is an acceptable word. And also the word China is an acceptable word. In fact, China Garden is a great Chinese restaurant name. China Garden, China Palace, Chinese Empire, whatever. Uh, the word express cannot be in it in order for it to be good Chinese, American Chinese food. The word express cannot be in it. Okay. All right. Devo Mama says, I think even her parents were blinded by the idea of DeForvida being famous. Yeah, it could be. Good point. Could be that they were kind of taken in by it, right? That they were seduced by this. So sad, continues Devo Mama. I don't know how they could sign her up for that. Yuck. Surely they're regretting it now. And then Miss Chivo's Dragon says, members only ironing after show. That's funny. Linda says, bubble baths. Ooh, a bubble bath is a delightful thing. Okay, those are great comments. Let's finish our day, guys, with some happy news. Let's finish with some good news. Wanda, do you have some good news? Do you have some good news music for us? Oh, you did the long one. All right, all night long, we are required to dance to the sound of this good news. This made me feel good. This from the San Francisco Chronicle, written by Lucy Hodgman. What a great way to cleanse the palate so that we can enter the rest of our evening, or wherever you are, maybe it's your morning, I don't know, with good and happy thoughts. Okay, this one I'm going to have to back up on. Look at this pupper right there. Look at that face. Oh, that's a good face. All right, let's see what it says. Oh, the headline is Terrified Dog Missing for 2 Days Rescued from San Francisco Caltrain Tunnel. Well, I'm sorry it was terrified, but it was rescued. The first time Caltrain operators spotted a medium-sized brown and white dog huddled inside a Potrero Hill railway tunnel, they took the animal for dead. The next time, a conductor saw the animal pick up his head. The dog, a 2-year-old pit bull mix named Rue, had been reported missing a few days before he was seen moving in the tunnel Saturday, and San Francisco Animal Care and Control spokesperson, said San Francisco Animal Care and Control spokesperson Deb Campbell. He had been recently adopted and bolted away from his new owner. Quote, he just went on a little adventure, Campbell said. It's a miracle he wasn't hit by a train. Caltrain spokesperson Dan Lieberman said it was the first time he could recall in his 9 years at the transit agency that a live dog was saved from inside a tunnel. Quote, this is pretty unlikely, Lieberman said. Typically, dogs do not like spending time around trains. They're loud and scary, and they typically are not hanging around them. But not Rue. The dog had been curled so motionlessly against the tunnel wall that the Caltrain operators who first noticed him believed he was injured, San Francisco Animal Care and Control said while sharing Rue's story on social media Tuesday. A video shared by the agency shows 2 animal control officers shining flashlights through the dark tunnel as they search for the dog. He was terrified at first, then thrilled to be rescued, the agency said. The video shows the dog looking up at his rescuers, his dirty harness reflecting the beams of their flashlights. Once he was on a leash, he could be seen confidently leading the search party out of the tunnel. She's a good boy. Rue was a little wobbly, Campbell said. Rue was a little wobbly, Campbell said, but otherwise got a clean bill of health from a local vet. His microchip helped animal control officers bring him home. Quote, his person was looking everywhere for him. and was thrilled to be reunited with him, the agency said. So there is Rue, our little adventurer, our little bolter, taker offer, who found himself huddled in a Caltrain tunnel, rescued by good folks, because there are good folks everywhere. And that makes me happy that that his owner was also out on the looking for him, trying to find him, and found him and reunited. And that, guys, is our good news for the day. And what a great way to end what was otherwise kind of tough. But we don't need to dwell on that. We don't need to dwell on it. We're just going to move on. Hey, I forgot. Wanda's got other music that she hasn't played for a while. What are some of these other ones?
We go again. On to something new. Don't you change the channel. We've got more for you.
Oh, that's transition music. I forgot we had transition music when I just need to be transitioned out of it. Okay, Wanda, we're going to use your talents more often. That obviously was a live performance, guys. Obviously. It was because Wanda is real and performs in her audio booth. That is all we've got for you tonight. Thank you very much for being with me. Don't forget that you can watch or listen wherever you get podcasts. You can watch if you're a Spotify Premium Video subscriber. And if you do, boy, does it help my channel out a lot. Remember, I'm all over social medias, and like Facebook is just blowing up right now. So I invite you to check me out there. Also, check out the Fish Tank, which is growing. It's our group on Facebook that you can join and talk about all things true crime. The easiest way to find it is to head over to my old website. It looks like this. It has my mug on it. And then if you click on this little fishy icon right there, that will take you to the tank. Looks like this. You're always welcome there. Or you can just search Gavin Fish. You'll find us. With that, I bid you adieu. Thank you again for being here. And I will see you tomorrow with special guest Elizabeth Jones from Hillbilly Crime. Good night.